No, you bring out the worst in everybody.
That's because they can't answer the question.
No, it's because you are a raging, narcissistic, egotistical asshole.
Right. I think I was just assertive with
You
your evasive
response.
Okay, and cordiality than the average atheist that we encounter.
I have been until you came on, because I have no cordiality for you, because you were an absolute ass to me last time.
No, actually, I don't think I was. I think I was just assertive with your evasive responses.
At me. You screamed at me.
Jim, I have many people who watch the videotape, and everyone that I talked to thought that your behavior was ridiculous.
Well, I'm sure they did. Did you show it to any atheists?
Now let's get back. Yeah, a lot of some atheists that I talked to thought your conduct was pathetic. Now,
I'm sure.
I don't want Jim. I don't. You see, I don't want to get into rabbit trails. I know how atheists like to go on rabbit trails. Now, do you understand? Okay, that because you don't have any reasons that God exists, it doesn't logically necessitate that there is no creator God.
It's justification enough for me.
No, you're not.
It's not a justification.
You're not understanding.
You don't get to tell me what my justification is.
Jim, I expect more out of you being the former head of whatever this atheist republic is than ordinary atheists that I run into. It is a non sequitur unless you can tell me that you have acquisition of all possible reasons in existence for God, okay? Then it's a non sequitur. It necessarily follows that what you say is a non sequitur. Do you understand?
I have never been presented with a reason. If you have a reason to present me that you think will convince me, then please present it, because if God exists, I want to believe in God.
There's no way that God's leading atheists. There's no way.
Okay, Tom, please don't pile on. Listen,
okay,
I want everyone else to.
I did not come here to get fucking jumped on.
Everybody be quiet. Everybody stop talking. Moderator here. I'm going to mute both of you. Listen, let's keep this cordial and professional. We can act like adults and have a normal debate here. Let's chill. Listen, I'm not done yet. Nobody overtalk these two people at all. All right?
Okay. No one overtalk. It's a conversation between Jim and Darth.
Shut up, sorta. Now, Jim, it is a non sequitur to say, because you are unaware of reasons for God, therefore no creator God exists. That's a non sequitur. Are we clear?
Well, why don't you believe in unicorns?
Jim, I'll be glad to address that objection momentarily.
Will you please? Will you please, real quick?
Jim, okay. We have good reasons to believe that there are not unicorns. Do you have a good reason to believe that God does not exist?
Yes, and I'm sure that most of them would look a lot like the reasons that you have for a unicorn not existing. Okay. Would you give me your best reason that you don't believe unicorns exist?
All right, I will get to that momentarily, but I'm still waiting for an answer.
But please do not overtalk me. You have not answered a single one of my questions.
Please do not overtalk me. I will be more than happy. I will be more than happy for you to give me a list of questions for me to answer momentarily. However,
I don't want to give you a list.
I don't want to give you a list.
How about something reciprocal here?
That's the second time you've overspoken me. Now,
it's not.
This is the third time, Jim. Now, I asked you a question. Do you understand that when you say, I don't have or know of good reasons for God's existence, therefore no creator God can exist as an ultimate? That is a non sequitur.
Okay, that is fine. Call it what you want. I will concede whatever you want. Now, please answer my question.
Okay, all right. So then
I will not answer another one of your questions until you answer one of mine. No, fuck that. Answer one of mine.
I will be glad to answer your question.
This is the exact same thing you did during the debate. You didn't answer a single one of my questions. I will not be shotgun.
I will be glad in a moment, within a 60 seconds or so, to answer your questions. Now. So are we clear then that your line of reasoning for the falsity of God is fallacious reasoning? Are we clear on that?
As long as we're clear that your line of reasoning for the non-existence of unicorns is fallacious.
Okay. All right. Was your first answer to me that God does not exist, was it fallacious reasoning?
According to you, it is. But you please answer my question.
No, I'm asking. I didn't ask myself. I'm asking you. When you said that God does not exist ontologically because you don't have good reasons, you conceded that that's a non sequitur. So your main answer that God does not exist was fallacious. Are we clear?
No, we are not clear. Now answer my question.
Okay. Well, we can get to that momentarily.
You can answer my question, or I can leave. This is your choice.
Jim.
No, fuck that. I am tired of you railroading me, Dawkins.
Well, I hope somebody's recording this.
I hope they are too. Answer my question.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Just to humor you, I'll answer you whatever questions you want, and then I'm going to go back. Then I will be glad to answer your. See,
one question. You could have answered it by now. Will you please answer it? No. How about you finish with my answer?
You're the former head of the Atheist Republic, and you're acting like an angry 14-year-old?
Call it what you want. I've had my past experience with you. You can look at any of my interactions with any other Christian, and I am completely amiable. Completely. But
maybe you're just angry
bring out
because
the worst. No, you bring out the worst in everybody.
That's because they can't answer the question.
No, it's because you are a raging, narcissistic, egotistical asshole.
Right. Okay. And so more deflection. Now,
answer my question.
Go ahead, and then we're going to go back to your fallacious reason.
Fine. Thank you. Please answer this question. What is your best reason for not believing in the existence of unicorns?
Why? Because we know that human beings have never observed unicorns, and if unicorns did exist, we would have observed them.
Wow, that's exactly what I predicted it would be. It sounds exactly why most people don't believe in God.
Okay, so could you formulate that back? So God does not exist.
So your reasoning is fallacious.
Jim, you just interrupted me again.
But your reasoning is fallacious, no?
No. What we have here is we have a category error. A unicorn. The unicorn is something. Well, that's about the 5th time you've overspoken me.
Well, call it what you want. This is a cop-out. This is a fallacy.
A unicorn is a temporal entity that is extended in time and space. God, as a concept of what is eternal, is not defined as being instantiated as a material entity extended in time and space. So it's a category error. Okay. Now,
what does eternal mean?
Eternal, it means something that is a necessary entity that exists because it's self-contained, and it's a necessary being.
That's what eternal means?
Now, do you have any other questions? I answered your unicorn question because I want to get back to the first thing that you said to show you step by step how fallacious it is. Okay.
Wait, hang on. You asked me a question. No, you asked me a question. I'm going to answer the question. You asked me if we can move on, and I said no. You asked if we can move on, and I said no.
Jim,
you asked me
badly now.
You fucking asked me if we can move on, and I said no. Why are you moving on?
I want any further questions that you have.
Don't move on. I said no. You asked me if we can move on. I said no. Why are you moving on?
See, I want all the Christians in the room. This is what you get when you get a prominent atheist.
So go to my YouTube channel.
All right. So listen.
Anybody. I will have a conversation with anybody else but this fuckwad.
Yeah, that's because you're
Darth. Wait. Jim here. You did agree to Jim here that you would answer questions from after he did answer that one question that you said that was fallacious. So,
do you have any further questions for me before we return to your main line of reasoning, or are you going to cut and run?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. How is it a category error?
It's a category error because God in this conversation is defined as what is ultimate, absolute, and self-contained and non-contingent. A unicorn, or anything else for that matter, would be defined as something that is temporal and not self-contained and derivative.
We're not talking about the nature of the entities. We are talking about the existence of the entities.
Right. So we can say that certain physical things don't exist because were they to exist, we would have visual apprehension of certain things. For example, many times people like, instead of talking about unicorns, people say, well, I don't believe in God for the same reason that I don't believe in the Easter Bunny. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, we have good reasons to believe that some things do not exist because evidence that we would expect to see, and we don't see it, that when we have an absence of evidence, in some cases, it is evidence of absence. But if you try to apply that to God, God is in a different category. So if you try to make belief in unicorns and God comparable, then I will ask you what evidence you would expect to see if a creator God existed, and in the absence of it, tell me why you would necessarily see that. But you wouldn't be able to answer that.
First of all, that is special pleading. It is. They are not.
How is it special pleading?
It's special pleading to say that God is in a different category than literally everything else with existential evidence. And there is I would say there's a lot more evidence, both physical, archaeological, textual, for the existence of unicorns than there is for a God.
Okay. Jim, is God defined as being eternal?
If you define God as being that, then yes.
Right. Well, we're talking about, since you lack belief in all gods, that would also include the concept of God, where God is creator and eternal. So God is defined. God is within the category of what is eternal and ultimate. When we talk about other entities, no, it's not a straw man.
You're straw manning me about what I believe about what God is. If we're trying to establish how I perceive God to be, then you're
interrupting me.
I was just trying to correct you, but if you want to straw man me, then go ahead.
It's not. I'm not representing what you believe. I'm giving you a operational definition of what we would designate as a creator God. You disbelieve in any creator gods, right?
I disbelieve in any gods.
Okay,
period.
So that would include the God concept of that God, where God is eternal, ultimate, and absolute, and the ground of all being. Now, such an entity would be an entirely different category than unicorns, or for that matter, the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus, because each of those three things would be represented as being extended in time and space.
I disagree. I disagree.
May I finish, please? I'd like to, Jim, I'd like to finish, please. Okay?
But we can't have a working definition that we disagree on.
Jim, okay. What I want the other Christians in the room to notice, how I point out all the time that when you start conversing with atheists, they will argue about everything in order to derail the conversation.
You're trying to establish a definition, Jim, a working definition, and I disagree with it. I am. Okay. Why would you want me to agree with something that I disagree?
No, so you disagree that there can be a definition of God where God is designated as possessing the attribute of eternal? That's a definition, Jim.
That is a singular God, okay? We're talking about a God concept. I'm talking about every God concept. Right. Now, if you want to argue the existence of the Abrahamic God, then I'm happy to. Okay. But don't try to sneak in God as a vague, ambiguous concept that blankets all.
Okay, what you're doing right now, okay, is you're baiting and switching. You're moving the goalposts. What we're talking about here.
No, I'm preventing you from doing that.
Jim, would you please stop interrupting me? Because the more you interrupt me, it's more evidence that you're trying to obstruct the interaction.
That's fine. I really hope somebody's recording this, because I really am getting tired of you straw manning me. One more straw man.
I didn't straw man you. I'm simply talking about the definition. Jim, do you disbelieve in the concept where what is eternal absolute and ultimate is a mind, you disbelieve in such an entity?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the concept that we're talking about. So such an entity would not by definition be extended in time and space and in human history. So it's in a completely different category than, let's say, a unicorn or the Easter Bunny, or for that matter, let's say a T-Rex. Okay?
Well, I would have to know more about it before I would put it in a different category, because as of now, with the information that I have, then it would be in the same category. No, I'm fucking answering you.
No, what you're doing is,
well, let him answer you.
You're filibustering. Now
I'm filibustering. Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Loud mouth.
Yeah. Now, Jim, are you done? Are you done questioning me?
Go for it, Motorboat.
Okay. Now, when you say you don't have good reasons to believe in God, and you say, therefore, no creator God exists, that's a non sequitur. You've already conceded that that is fallacious. That was your first and foremost grounds as to why God does not exist. So you've conceded that that's fallacious. Are we clear?
No, because I disagree that God is in a different category than a unicorn.
You're baiting and switching again.
No, we're not. I'm telling you, no, we're not. You say it's a category error. I say it's not. So until we come to an agreement here, then we cannot go on. So I'm not going to stick to your fucking.
Jim, you stated that God.
I'm not moving on to the next point in your script. Okay, we've been through this before. The exact same conversation. I'm surprised. Actually, you know what? I'm not surprised that you don't remember it, because you probably go through the same script multiple times.
Jim, I asked you if you had any further questions, and you said no. And now you're going back to those questions again. Now, what I want to know from you is...
I'm sorry. Was that the end of my questions?
Jim, were you done asking me questions?
Well, I don't fucking know. If you say something that I question, then
Jim,
no.
Why are you screaming?
Because you frustrate the fuck out of me.
I'm treating you with absolute respect and dignity, Jim.
No, the hell you are not.
I think it's patently obvious to everyone in the room. They're witnessing how I'm dealing with you.
Oh, well, if we just take this little 30-second clip, then yeah, it seems that I'm just abusing the poor Christian. But if we look at it in its entirety and in your career history of being an asshole on the internet, then no, it's quite clear that you're the asshole.
Okay, so Jim, is it a non sequitur to say because you don't have good reasons to believe in God, therefore no creator God can or does exist ontologically? Is that a non sequitur, Jim?
One more time.
When you assert that you don't have good reasons to believe in God, or that you are unaware of good reasons to believe in God, does it logically necessitate that no creator God ontologically exists?
No, not just by itself.
Okay, so you've now conceded that your first answer to me was fallacious.
You're assuming that I come to my belief through purely my own knowledge. I mean, I don't know about you, but I stand on the shoulder of giants.
Okay. Jim, is it fallacious to assert because you are unaware of reasons for God, therefore, through logical necessity, God cannot ontologically exist? Is that a fallacious form of reasoning?
That is not my reasoning.
That's what you said in the beginning, Jim.
That's not my only reasoning. It is one part of my reasoning. Yes.
Jim, is that fallacious?
By itself, I would say that it is not justified.
Okay, so we're going to go back to square one again.
No, we are not. No, we are not doing this one by one by one, okay?
Well, I asked you if you had any further questions, and you said no. So what I'm trying to ascertain from you, Jim, would you not overtalk me, please?
Sure, buddy.
It just makes you look bad, right? Now, what I want to know from you, without repeating your first answer, which you've conceded is a non sequitur, can you give me your rationale why no creator God necessarily exists?
Jim, you have muted yourself. I don't know if you've realized that.
Yeah. So how is it that no creator God exists?
Because we don't have evidence that a creator God exists. We do not observe it. We do not. All the stories about it are completely contrary to the way that people say that they experience and feel God now. So, as far as that God concept, yeah, I think that not only but nobody has any good reason to believe that God exists.
Okay, so you've made a determination that all facts that you are aware of do not stand in causal relations to God. Is that your position?
Well, yeah. I mean, that would have to be the case.
Okay. How did you determine that all facts collectively do not stand in causal relations to a creator God? How did you make that determination?
I didn't. It was an implication of the belief that God doesn't exist.
No, you told me that there's no evidence for God, which is another way of saying that facts do not stand in causal relations with God as the prerequisite of all facts. How did you make
now
that
you're
determination?
strawmanning me again.
No,
you're strawmanning me again. I didn't say anything like that. Do not put words in my mouth. You can take my words or you can just forget it.
Jim, when you say that there's no evidence for God, does that equal saying that facts do not, all known facts don't stand in causal relations to God?
No, it doesn't.
So how did you determine that nothing is evidence for God?
Because nothing is evidence for God. What do you mean? The same way that you came to the belief that unicorns don't exist. I'm telling you that they hang up here is this category error thing that you have going on. So you need to justify putting God in a different category before we can get beyond this.
I didn't. I was paying very close attention, and I really didn't hear an answer to my question. How did you determine that there is no evidence for God?
We are not going to get anywhere as long as you keep circling that. You have to address.
Well, you made that assertion, right? That nothing constitutes evidence for God. Did you not make that statement?
Yes.
Okay. Now, does evidence entail causal relations between two entities?
Well, it depends on what you're calling. I mean, what are you calling evidence? What do you mean?
Jim,
like, what do you mean? Are you talking about a direct link, or are we talking about some sort of in the regress through the whole tendrils and branches of causation?
Jim, when you use the word evidence, does evidence entail causal relations between two entities?
Yes.
Okay, so when you say there's no evidence for God, what you're saying is that the facts that you are acquainted with are not deemed worthy of standing in causal relations with God. Is that correct?
I'm saying that facts do not correlate with the claim that God exists.
No, you stated there is no evidence, which is the statement that
No. Don't tell me what I mean.
Jim,
I just told you what I mean. No, fuck you. Stop straw manning me. I just told you what I meant.
Okay, so Jim,
I told you what I meant. Shut the fuck up. I said what I meant.
Can you tell me then that all of the facts that you are aware of, what are they evidence of ultimately then?
My left testicle. Are you happy that we got here?
Well, you see, you're the former head of the Atheist Republic, and I expect serious answers.
My left testicle.
Well, if all facts are not evidence of God as the origin point and the ground of all being, what is it that all facts are evidence of ultimately? What would that be?
If I had to guess, it'd be my left testicle.
No, I'm looking for an adult answer, Jim.
This is the answer that I have for you. This is where we've gotten, so you're welcome.
So
I was mistaken. I thought you were a serious representative of atheism on the internet.
When it's warranted, absolutely.
All right. So what I want to know is, since you have ruled out that facts are evidence of God, then do you have in mind what all facts are in reference to foundationally?
I'm sorry, but this is definitely not something that warrants a serious conversation or any effort for me, or much less my presence. I really don't even know why I'm here.
That's not a legitimate question? I think it is.
That is my answer to you. Is that not a legitimate answer? I think it is.
Okay, all right. Do you know or not know what all facts are causally related to ontologically?
Nope, I sure don't, and you don't either.
Okay, now, since you don't know what all facts are causally related to, how did you rule out God?
My left testicle. Thanks for sticking to your script. You did so good.
No, I think that's a legitimate question for your atheism.
No, it's a legitimate leg of your little tree diagram that you have.
Okay. Tell us why it's not a legitimate.
Shut up, Pandemic. Now,
you shut up. How? No, you.
Whoa! Everybody chill. Hey,
epic.
He wasn't telling you to shut the fuck up. Pandemic. We're having a debate here. He was telling Pandemic to shut the fuck up. He wasn't telling you to shut the fuck up.
Talking to you, Jim. He's talking to Pandemic. Okay. Now, since you have ruled out God as being the causal origin of all facts, that all facts are not evidence of God, so then am I correct in understanding that you do not know what all facts are evidence of in terms of ontological origins? Is it correct? You don't know?
I have already answered this question. If you do not remember, I am sorry.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure that you confirm it. So you did say that. So you said you don't know what all facts are evidence of ontologically. How did you rule out that God ontologically is or is not evidence? How did you determine that?
I really hate to be rude and possibly ableist, but do you have short-term memory loss?
How did you determine that nothing is evidence for God? I think it's a legitimate question based upon your assertion. Can you not answer the question?
Maybe he's having difficult technicals.
I seriously doubt that. So, Jim, how did you determine that facts are not in any sense, shape, or form evidence of God ontologically? How did you determine that?
I just felt down and just wiggled around my left testicle, and it told.
I hope you're recording this, Supreme Leader.
Who is the Supreme Leader?
Yeah, shut up, Trump. So, Jim, you asserted that nothing is evidence for God. So that's a propositional claim. Now, do you agree with the statement that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence? Do you agree with that?
No.
Really, this is a common phrase that atheists use all the time. Are atheists wrong when they assert this all the time?
I believe that they are misguided, that they are speaking hyperbolically, and because somebody very influential first.
Okay. Now, when you assert there's no evidence for God, can you please explain to us how you determine that?
I've already answered this question. I am not going to answer any other questions that I've already answered.
Well, it's not clear to me. Did anyone else get a clear answer how he determined? Okay. Now, for the benefit of everybody in the room.
No, then I'm sorry. No, my benefit outweighs your benefit. Okay, so my needs come before yours. I don't feel like doing it. Not gonna repeat myself.
So really, you're the former CEO of Atheist
Oh my gosh,
Republic,
are you fucking brain dead? Yes, I am. How many times are you going to ask me that?
Well, I expected more out of somebody who's the head of an internet atheist organization, that they should at least give me intelligent answers to my questions about their atheism.
If it's any consolation, I didn't expect anything less than the shit that just squeezed out of your head.
Okay, well, I'm asking you very legitimate philosophical questions about your atheism, and you're losing your mind over it.
How can you expect me to address serious philosophical questions when you are a literal, living, breathing human turd?
Okay, I'm glad this is being recorded.
Good, I'm glad. Post this shit all over the internet.
Okay, so once again, God does not exist because?
Because my left testicle. Good night, bitch.
What a disappointment, man.
No. That was perfect. Here's a guy.
Oh my gosh.
Here's a guy who is the head of the Atheist Republic, whatever that is. The guy acted worse than 98% of the teenagers that I encounter.
Yeah, he was far worse than a lot of the morons we see over here on a daily basis.
I'm not. I hope this was recorded. I really pray and hope that
I know for a fact it was. I know for a fact it was.
This is fantastic.